Today's topic is, are you a writer or are you a content creator? If you've got 5 minutes, I've got 5 tips for helping you figure it out. Content creation is a fairly new buzz phrase that's used among the social media savvy and public relations people of the world. Many of the people who do content creation call themselves writers, but I'm going to suggest to you that if you in fact are a content creator, calling yourself a writer, you're being a little bit disingenuous. The Pew Internet Project defines content creation as the material that people contribute to the online world. Content creators may have to write some of that material, but the question is, does that make them writers? And here's what I mean. I'm going to give you an analogous situation. Let's say you're at a cocktail party, you're enjoying a drink and you've just met someone new, and conversation goes along this way sometimes. You say to that person, "What do you do?" And the person says to you, "I'm a doctor." What immediately comes to your mind? Are you immediately thinking, oh, this person must teach chemistry at a university? Of course not. In our North American society, you are much more likely to think that that person is a medical doctor. You might even ask that person then, what's your medical specialty? Because when someone says they're a doctor, they mean they're a medical doctor. If someone is a university professor with a PhD who could use the honorific doctor, you ask that person at a cocktail party, what do you do? That person is likely to say, I'm a university professor, I teach chemistry. So let's look at the situation a little differently. You're at the cocktail party and you say to the person, what do you do? And that person says, I'm a writer. What do you immediately think about? Do you think about the person who's writing blog posts for a dog food company? No, you don't. You think possibly this person may have written a book or short stories, or may even be a writer in magazines. But you probably are not thinking of someone who's creating content for marketing purposes, for example. So let's be clear about that when people think you're a writer, they have a different idea than content creation. The fact of the matter is that writers do more than create content for a purpose, and that's the difference. Now, over the years, I've identified 5 telltale signs that you are actually a content creator more than you are a writer. So if you look at those telltale signs and turn them around, then you'll be able to focus more on writing than on creating content for the web. Telltale sign number 1 is that you spend more time posting on Instagram, reading people's posts on Instagram, posting on Facebook, taking part in Facebook groups for writers and publishing than you do on your actual writing. Turn that around, stop doing it, and you can focus on being a writer. Tip number 2, every time you post on those aforementioned groups, you have one purpose in mind, and that's to sell your books. If your only focus online is to sell books, then you might want to turn that around and figure out how not to do that. My tip there is to reconsider your reasons for using social media. Think carefully about those. The next sign that you might be a content creator is that you spend a lot of time trying to figure out ideas that will sell. That's what content creators do. But writers don't do that. My tip for you is spend more time thinking about ideas that you're passionate about. Sign number 4 that you might be a content creator is that you spend a lot of time writing reviews of other people's books in the hope that they will also write great reviews of your books. You know, if a writer really likes a book and is inclined toward writing a review, you're going to get those good, honest reviews. My tip for you is that write reviews if you're interested in something and you want to contribute. You may like the book or you may not like the book, but be honest when you write that review. Telltale sign number 5 that you're a content creator rather than a writer is that you don't own a single reference book about writing. You don't own a single book about creativity or inspiration. So my tip is that you go out and get yourself a few of those books and you read them and you use them. Writers do more than actually create content for the online world. There's nothing wrong with being a content creator, but if you're a writer, you might want to refocus your activities. Well, those are my 5 tips for today. I've got a manuscript to get back to. Maybe you do too. Subscribe to Write, Fix, Repeat, and maybe I can help you improve your writing knowledge and skills, 5 tips at a time.